Ladies and gentlemen, I want us to have a discussion about something that happened sometime this week. William Samoei Ruto sworn in the 50 cabinet administrative secretaries that were sworn in State House. And remember, Parliament did not vet them. That caused a lot of questions as to whether we had bypassed that requirement of the law. The other question was on the blotted number. That number was 50 was a bit ridiculous, even though I have seen lawyers saying that it is not within the context of the law. There is no law that restricts the number of CAS that a president can appoint. Now, unlike many, the judiciary was no-show when that event was going on. And contrary to reports earlier, in fact, there was an activist who was raising a question saying that how did judiciary oversaw swearing in of CAS despite the fact that they had not been vetted by Parliament, or how did they just support such an illegality? There are many questions that were being asked. Now today, Martha Koome is confirming that they were not part of the judiciary, never participated, and no representative, not even a single judge from the judiciary attended that swearing in, and judiciary was not represented. I was just trying to do my research, and I found out that if indeed what Martha Koome is saying is true, then that is the first ever state function of a swearing in that they are missing. Even though I'm told they also said they did not preside over the one for CAS and the PS and cabinets, principal secretaries. But of course, even if they did not administer the oath, but they were behind it. Probably they were in attendance. So what Martha Koome, and Martha Koome had to come out and defend that, saying that we did not go to State House and we were not part of it. I understand that there was a bit of debacle because, one, people argued the number is too huge unnecessarily. Number two, I don't know why Parliament did not vet them. I still don't understand why Parliament did not vet them. I don't know what was the sole urgency. But then the coincidence here is the judiciary did not go for that swearing in. But immediately they were sworn in, Katiba Institute and I think some other NGO, civil society organization, went and challenged that to court with LSK. Challenged their swearing in on two grounds. They have not been vetted by Parliament. Number two, that there are some 27 that are appointed illegally. But to say the truth, the number is a bit ridiculous because we have where David Ocean was. I worked that David Ocean was doing one person. He's been replaced by 7 people drawing the same salary. In fact, even the salary has been improved to some higher figure compared to the figure that Uhuru CS were actually gobbling. So Martha Koome is saying, I did not go to State House and I did not participate in it. But is it a coincidence that even after Ruto being seen as trying to rush the process to make sure that these people are certainly in office, the High Court suspended it and really put another injunction gave an order saying that those who were already sworn in should not move ahead and withdraw their salaries and benefits until the case is heard and determined. This issue of CS has been having a problem, by the way. It has been having a lot of problems because even before, initially it delayed. We are in the month of, we are in May, and it delayed. It was sometime way back. The case was first launched, petitioned by LSK, and they lost the case to government. Then William Ruto, the process started afresh, and it's been used then to then used to reward loyalists. I want us to look at the Martha Koome. What Martha Koome is communicating by simply saying that trying to distance themselves from the executive. What is a political interpretation of that? But before that, I want to make a personal submission on this point. You know, there is a discussion that I think William Ruto will not win in the public courts, in the public opinion, because we are really struggling with the economy. Yes, and we have acknowledged, all of us, across the political divide, both Azimio la Umoja and Kenya Kwanza, even a child knows, it has been said and it has been sung like a chorus, and everyone knows that Kenya have a problem with the economy. The other day I was talking to a friend who was telling me that, Kevin, he was telling me hajapeleka mtoto wake shule. So I was asking the kid, nani mbona hujapeleka shule? They were saying daddy hana pesa. and daddy hana pesa. And so I was asking the father, he was telling me, yes, mtoto wangu knows very well that sina hiyo pesa ndio maana hajaenda shule. And I was like, okay, fine. It's good sometimes for kids to know the reality maybe. But that should be a good example that kuna kitu ikisemwa, people just bite. Even a kid knows. Uchumi wetu iko mbaya. Everyone else will know that. But here, you are creating these positions, the bloated figure. You are struggling with recurrent expenditure. You're even trying to put austerity measures to reduce the budget, but you're still giving people jobs. In fact, the CAS position, these are some of the roles, those are some of, let's just argue out. These CAS, Cabinet Administrative Secretaries, are earning money that is even more than an county assembly MCA. An MCA is doing a more important oversight role in the county than a CAS who is a de facto assistant minister, and the role is not even well spelled out. In fact, you cannot even gauge his performance. So for me, I don't support it. If there is one thing that even if we were to talk about constitution, we should actually not just allow a president to be in a position to use this, create dummy positions just for political expediency. Look at where we are. We are doing 50 because we want to please people. But in real sense, we're just shooting ourselves in the foot. So that's a bit of it. I want to look at what is Martha Koome telling us. Why does Martha Koome doesn't want to go to State House? Simple. Why do you think it's publicly trying to distance themselves? Because by then we had not paid attention to it. We reported that there was a report that they were there. They're saying we never went there. Number one, the president of the judiciary was complaining in Meru less than 2 weeks ago that the 2 billion money that they were promised as part of Ruto's agenda, the bottom-up agenda, and they were promised an addition of 2 billion to make sure that it's an independent, the judiciary remain independent. She was crying out that money has not been disbursed. Okay? Yes. By the way, you realize that nowadays the honeymoon between President Ruto and Martha Koome, the first few days of the Kenya Kwanza, it's no longer there. They rarely appear in public together. In fact, events where you even expect the president to be there with the judiciary, you're not being seeing them. So that could be number one, that money has not been given out. I'm not even sure that for police, but I think that for police has been, that one for police independence, but it was just money put there for cosmetics, but in real sense, the state house is still calling shots. The other thing is this discussion about LGBTQ. The LGBTQ, according to me, had very deeper interest. It is not true, and I can say, I don't think it's true that William Ruto did not know what was coming from the courts. Probably he had an idea of what the courts were going to make, because there is even a recent article that was published. I think MPs were actually probing where an incident where there is Kenya wanted to join some body, and they were told they have to relook their position on LGBTQ for them to be admitted into that body. So possibly Martha Koome and William Ruto were in the same understanding of the LGBTQ. But immediately that information came out and there was a public backlash, William Ruto went and sided with the people. Then you see the executive, the parliament, all of them were united in attacking the judiciary. You know, you didn't expect Martha Koome to say, you knew. Of course, because for them, it has to be in the fairness or rather on human rights defense. So there is a possibility that both, and look at the way the judiciary, even Mahaji Chepev going to parliament is saying, bringing in a bill there. The judiciary and the executive were united in attacking, not judiciary, rather the executive and the parliament, legislature, were united in pushing, charging against the judiciary on that move. And possibly, William Ruto knew very well what was coming. But because he succumbed to his pressure and is a politician, pressure from the public, he decided to throw Martha Koome under the bus. That is a big possibility. Number 3, due to the public pressure, the public is saying enough is enough. This is an illegality. Number 2, it's against the spirit of reviving our economy. So they might have decided that, look here, it has not, and maybe they knew very well that at the right time, because the CS has not been vetted by the National Assembly, and that's a requirement, they knew that at one point the law is going to catch up with them. Now imagine a situation where judiciary goes and administers such an oath of office, then the next day themselves, they are actually suspending operation of that CS. So probably they knew very well that this was an illegality, but they did not want to be part of it, so that they do not carry the blame of going out to swear in people or rather into offices while it's totally against the law. That's my point. Let's come back with Kenya Power.